Let me try this again. Hello. Hope everyone had a good Memorial Day weekend. It's good to see everybody. Let me say hi, and then we'll bring Allie up and get right to it. Hey, Neat Noodle. Hey, Ange. Hey, K-Brace. Hey, Tamisha. Hey, Christine. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Christine. Good to see you. I don't know. Hi, Ange. Hey, Kathy. Good to see everyone. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right, so let me bring Allie up here. Oh, I was going to bring Allie up and then she just left. Oh, my. Okay, so I don't know if I said hi to Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. There's Allie. Okay, like I was legitimately about to bring you up and then you were just poof, gone. It was a little sad.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Wait,
Can you hear me, Allie?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I was
The
about to.
service is awful right now. I'm sorry.
Oh no! I was about to bring you up, and right when I said, "All right, let me bring up Allie," you were gone. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, the storm is done, but I guess like because of the storm in the house, I'm not getting hardly any signal. And I was in the house. Then I walked outside and I was able to hear you. So
Okay. Did you guys? Was there any damage? Or are you guys all safe and sound?
yeah, there was no damage, but it actually like it was pretty scary because it got pretty bad for a second. And my dad was outside grilling when it started. And he like so I went outside with him because I was worried about him being out there alone. And yeah, it got pretty bad for a minute, but there's no damage and we're okay. No
Okay.
tornadoes touched down around us. There was a couple that were within a few minutes, but not like directly around us. So
Okay. Well, maybe that's why you guys are having bad service.
that's what I was thinking because it seems like every time it storms, it messes with our service a little bit.
Yeah. Hey,
Since
Dave G. Good to see you, babe. Hey,
since we
Teacup.
put a metal roof on, like
Uh-huh.
even when it just rains, you can't hardly get signal in there.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
That's probably why. I know, like, the house that I live in, all of the exterior walls are cinder block because, hurricanes. And they redid this house. So the master bedroom, it used to only be a two bedroom, one bathroom house. but they converted the garage to be the master bedroom with a bathroom. So technically, the living room wall, which is what backs up to the what would have been the garage, right? That is an exterior, would have been an exterior wall. So it's got cinder blocks. So sometimes, like when I used to stream from before I was an empty nester, I used to have my desk in my bedroom, and like sometimes I wouldn't get good Wi-Fi in there because of it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
big
I
old
guess
mess.
where you live, you need to have sturdy walls like that because, yeah,
Well, I
major
mean,
hurricane.
well, yeah, I mean, ideally, you would, yeah, you definitely want, hold on a second, sturdy walls, for sure,
Look,
for sure.
matter of fact, that was in the storm warning. It said, like, if you live in a mobile home or, like there was certain homes that were listed on there, you
Yeah,
especially need to watch out.
yeah, yeah. So, like for hurricanes, or they evacuate the trailer parks first. They're
Oh,
mandatory.
wow.
Yeah, because a hurricane won't. I mean, a trailer won't last in a hurricane. Because these are consistent winds, so where a
Right.
tornado is like, they're high winds, but they, how tornadoes are, they drop down, then they pick up and they move and stuff like that. I mean, it's still dangerous, but these are
Different. Yeah.
sustained winds. Yeah. So it is, just hopefully they say we're going to have they say that every year though. Like, I'm kind of over it. Every year is going to be an active year, but I guess because it's La Nina, which I don't even, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh crap. I need to send myself something really quickly. I forgot, you guys, about this that I had. So let me forward this to myself really quickly. So Kresha, as you guys know, who is from she does difficult research. That's the name of her channel. Okay. She I need to, what am I trying to do here? Hold on a second. Um crap. No. Shit. Hold on. She sent me this interview that um, Joseph Murray, who is married to Emma Daybell Murray, right? The SoundCloud interview that he did back in 2019 promoting that race. Okay. So
Oh.
what I had done is I went and listened to that interview, and I'm going to play a little bit of it for you guys um, before we get started here. But what I did then was I went to the page that's he had set up for this race, and one of the things. So, excuse me, ma'am, slow down. I don't want to hear from you just yet. Anyway, so thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and thank you for being a member for 4 months. I appreciate that. Okay. So, oh my God, y'all, Mac just learned how to open a door. Oh, we're all in big trouble now. Hold on. Let me close this really quick. Sorry.
That's okay.
I forget that he's tall.
Mom.
I forget he's tall enough to reach the handle. Okay. So anyway, let me start all over again. Kresha sent me an interview. Kresha has the channel Difficult Research. She is Kay and Larry Woodcock's daughter. Okay. Kay is Charles Vallow's sister. So she sent me this interview about the race that is referenced in the testimony from 2019, I think, is when that race was, that 5K. Well, it was more than a 5K. It was also a half marathon, and then there was a free kids 1 mile walk run. Okay. Well, when you register for a race, okay, because I did the half marathon so many years ago, 2015. in Central Park. Not Central, was it Central Park? It was just in New York. I can't remember where it was. I don't know. I think it was Central Park because there was just so ridiculous hills. I can't remember where it was. I have the medal. I'll show it to you guys. So anyway, I did that. Well, um, when the way that they keep track of the the times and make it official and who all ran all the right, who crossed the finish line, blah blah blah, what place, what their time was, all the things, right? There's a thing inside of the bib that has, your number on it. There's like a chip. So when you cross the finish line, it reads that chip. So what I did was I went to his website, to Joe's website that sponsored the race, and I looked at the race results. And I can say officially, Tammy Daybell was not entered in that race and didn't run that race. I think that on that, Emma is telling the truth because she would have registered, she would have been given a number, and she would have attached that number to her shirt, and it would have read when she crossed the finish line. So I do not think that she ran in that race. I do think, don't get me wrong, I think Emma is not honest about a lot of things, but I actually think that one she is being honest about. I can tell you who did run. Joe's mom and dad ran. His sister, and of course Emma did, but also Garth ran that 5K. So I have a screenshot, but I totally forgot about that I had it. And I don't, there's a lot of names in between Joe Murray's parents' names. And then Emma and Chad Daybell, and I think it's Joe's sister that ran, or sister-in-law. Her last name is Murray, but there's a lot of people in between those names, and I'm not trying to dox them, so I need to edit that screenshot and I'll put it on the community tab. But I do think that Emma's telling the truth about that. At least everything else I'm not so sure about, but yeah.
That's interesting. But I mean, I don't know. I kind of had the feeling that she was telling the truth anyways, just based on like how sure and certain she was, with what she was saying. But then you guys, like so many people kind of felt the opposite, which I know you're only talking about that one specific part. So then you guys kind of really had me start like rethinking how I even felt about it. So,
well, it's because, first of all, this is how I feel about it. I don't have any problem admitting, listen, I was doubting the story. And the reason I was doubting the story that she told is because there were people that testified that were 100% sure that Tammy A was training and she did run that race. So Emma, in my opinion, has motive to be less than honest in this case.
right.
And so I wasn't, in my opinion, her credibility wasn't great with me. But the minute that Precious sent this to me, I listened to it. Then I followed up by looking at the race registration. Then I knew that I needed to tell you guys and let you know that on this one thing, she was telling the truth. The rest of it, just because and I have to be honest about this as well, just because she was honest about this one thing, there are some other things that she said that give me pause. For example, but before I do that, let me acknowledge the boss lady. Thank you so much for being a member for 27 months. I so appreciate that. You guys, you guys' support just means the world to me, and I can't even really put it into good enough words that would really explain how much it means to me. But I want you to know that it means a lot to me. It means the world to me. I see you guys' comments. I read everybody's comments. I might not always respond. I will always give a heart. because I appreciate you taking the time to leave me comments. Just you guys being here means a lot to me. It means the world to me, and I appreciate it. And Allie, I appreciate you too, because you're always up here sticking by me. I'm a little thrown off because I was over on Queen Bee's and I was listening, and you know what she did, Allie? She pulled up an interview with Heather, the PI,
Mm-hmm.
from the Sebastian Rogers case, and you know how I feel about that woman.
Mm-hmm.
I was compelled to click that link. And
Did you?
I did. I wasn't on for very long. I pretty much read her for filth and then I got down.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I gotta see that.
Yeah. I'll play it for you guys at the end, just where I come up, because it just made me so annoyed.
Yeah, please. I would love
I
that.
can't take her. I really cannot. And Lil Red, um, what do you mean? Like what? Hold on. I have to find the comment because now it just skipped. Okay. Lil Red says, "Oh, I like your picture. What if
She's
they changed
beautiful.
the records to make her look ill? Changed what records, babe? Medical records or the race records?"
I love that picture, and I think
I
Lil
do
Red is so
too.
beautiful.
She is a gorgeous girl. Gorgeous. Um, wait, how do you fix it, Allie, to make them bigger again? Hold on. Oh, I see.
Okay, so
Oh, wait. Where is it at?
it's on the theme part. I think it's like so you know how you can do like bubble or um the one that's more plain, you can make the bubble comments. Wait, I don't know where it's at on StreamYard. Let me
Okay,
pull up.
so I have theme. It says bubble, classic, minimal, block. That's all I have.
Yes, change that around while her comments up. Switch it through
Change it
those
to
four. I can't remember which one it is. It's just like there we
classic.
go.
It's classic. Yep, it's
Yeah,
classic. All right. I like that. Fancy,
I love that
fancy.
too.
Oh, the
Race
race
records.
records. Okay. Is it possible that they did that? I mean, it's possible, but is it probable? I don't think so, and here's why. Because then they would have had to know ahead of time that all of this is coming down the pike. They would have had to know ahead of time that Chad was going to, and cahoot and all of the things. And I don't think so. And the other thing is that this wasn't like a local, just for fun race. This was a race that was intended to raise money for Operation Underground Railroad, which is part of, it was, I don't think it is anymore, but part of what Tim Ballard does with, it's an organization that provides shelter, medical. I know that one girl who was trafficked needed dental work and braces, and they provided that for her. That's really that's where the proceeds were going to go. And so, and the other thing is that people who, especially a half marathon and 5Ks too, people who run those races are serious about running. And so I think it would be on the up and up. It's always possible, but I don't think so. I really don't. I think, and I've been thinking about this a lot, listening to Emma's testimony about her mom and talking about going to bed early and sleeping in. I think, and it was the way that Emma testified was that it was a year before her mom's death. Okay. I think that the truth of the matter is, I don't think she was ill in that way, like physically. I think that Tammy was depressed. It's my personal opinion. I think that we know she knew it. We know she knew at one point because, well, I mean, it's possible that Chad got into the emails and, Tammy never did see that email from Charles Fallow. But I think that she suspected what Chad was up to. And I think she suspected that he was having an affair. And I think that she was deeply, deeply hurt, deeply, deeply sad. And I think that a lot of the going to bed early and sleeping in, it's my opinion that I think it was depression a little bit. And I also think she was doing it to avoid Chad. I
That
don't think
makes
she
so much
wanted to be around him.
so much sense. I think that I'm way that makes a lot of sense to me. And it may appear like now, truly, her kids may look back on that and be like, "Wow, mom was always in bed," or whatever. I don't know, but I'm with you on that. I would say depression, and I'm really curious. I've always wondered, did she actually see that email from Charles? Because part of me really thinks that she did. Um, Part of me wonders if Chad deleted it first, but I, I don't know. What do
It
you think?
does. Well, what I will say is that both Chad and Tammy had access to both computers, and that nobody needed, as Emma testified, nobody needed a password to log into anything that Tammy had because Tammy would save her passwords. And so I think
Same
it's,
with me.
yeah, me too. I don't have anything to hide.
Same.
If I were going to be, first of all, I don't have the timer that I have time. Let's be real. If I mean, you can make time for whatever you want to. Everybody can. I don't have the energy or the inclination to have an affair. To be quite frank, it seems like it seems like a hassle, and I love my husband, and it's just not worth the risk for me. So there's that.
I just don't
Um,
like cheaters, period. And I'm like, even my kids could, anybody could get into anything I have. But honestly, I'm like you, and my parents have always my dad's always like beat it in my head that if you feel like you need to hide something, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
correct.
So, I'm with you. I also anybody could get in my stuff and delete it if they knew it was coming, or you know what I mean. If there was somebody who had bad intentions around me and I wasn't aware of it, they
Yeah.
could get into my stuff.
And I'll just say this. I think that
Hey,
we will
Roxanne.
never know with 100% certainty whether or not Tammy saw that email. We'll never know. But what I will say is whether she saw it or not, because we can't prove it, in my opinion anyway, is kind of a moot point. Women know their husbands, and husbands know their wives. Partners know each other, period. And so when you have been with somebody for the amount of time that Chad and Tammy were together, you know when something isn't right. And I think that Tammy knew that something wasn't right. And I think Tammy was conflicted about what to do, how to handle it. We don't know. We don't know if she ever confronted him, if she ever asked him. We don't know any of that. And it wouldn't be able
Right.
to come in because it would all be hearsay anyway. So, we'll never know for sure. But it just seems to me that if the kids are looking, I think they're saying it looking back now on the fact that she's passed away. I don't think that they necessarily felt like she was in poor health in the moment because it doesn't make sense to me that they did not encourage her, nag her and that's another thing. Chad didn't either. Nobody thought that this woman who's bruising left and right and center, she's sleeping all the time, she's worn out from walking from one room to another at the school, you know what I mean? Nobody
Yeah.
thought to say, hey. And then also you have on top of it, none of her coworkers noticed that, you know.
Yep.
So
Pusha says a cheater is a liar, and I don't tolerate liars in my life, and I'm like that too. I'm
yeah,
exactly like that, but I have to wonder, like with Tammy, or and any women who, some women, they I don't know, I feel like they will put up with it from their husbands for one reason or another. Maybe it's I don't know, the family aspect of it and wanting to save their family. Some of them don't have confidence. Some of them believe they can change him. Like, I hate to see women that do that because we all deserve better than that, but it happens all the time.
You're right. And the fact of the matter is, Tammy could have been thinking with Chad, this is a phase. This is, he's distracted by Lori. She's friendly, she's outgoing, she's vivacious, she's active, she's, all the things, right? And,
Yeah.
but he might be distracted by her, but she won't, she remember, Tammy knows Chad. And I promise you, other than his, religious ideations and whatnot, I'm sure Chad had some habits, you know, stuff like that. Look, when I was younger, okay, um, Lonnie's sister, her friends used to tell me all the time how good looking my husband is, and he's so hot, blah 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 blah. And it used to kind of, at
Are
first,
they
it would
friends?
offend me, huh? What?
Who who would the kids'
My
friends?
husband's sister's friends. So his
Oh,
younger
okay.
sister, she's
Sisters.
just 2 years younger than I am. But they all thought he was so hot,
Okay.
and they used to tell me to my face, like, but the way they would say it, it was like almost like it was an insult to me, like I was some fucking, troll under a bridge. Like, how'd I get him? And every time they
Oh,
would say
whatever.
that to
Ugh.
me, you know what I would think in my brain? If y'all only knew him. Like, yes, he's very good looking, he is, but everybody has their issues. Okay. I have them. He has them. We all
Right.
do. And I wonder if Tammy thought the same
Yep.
thing. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, it does.
I think so. I
No,
wonder
you ain't no
about
damn
that.
troll under a bridge, by the way.
But
No way.
thank you, Allie. But it was the way they would say it. It was like they
Right.
were saying it in such a way, like, how'd you get him?
Yeah,
And
I know what you mean.
I would say, like, throw it off when I was young. When I was young, I was very spicy and very feisty, and I would say, like, really super throw it off things. Like, if you think you can take him, go right ahead. Hell, I'll tell you what, I'll pack his bags and a lunch, and I'll give you a list of his favorite foods.
Jen's
Because
like, "Hello, I'm the catch here. Thank you very much."
hello.
Kidding.
you know,
But you
but
are,
I do.
but I'm just saying.
Thank you, babe. But that's, like, I would be like, just take him already. I mean, he's kind of high maintenance, y'all. So,
Yeah.
like, um, I wonder if that is kind of what Tammy was going through a little bit.
You're like, "If you think you can put up with him, go right ahead, honey."
Right. The way I feel about it is, I think that it's not something that I worry about. And it has nothing to do with that I think he's incapable or he wouldn't do it. First of all, I will say this. My husband feels exactly like you do. Allie, he loathes a cheater, can't stand it.
Yeah.
Cheating is like, the worst thing.
Yeah.
And so that it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with him, why he would never cheat. But I would never spend time worrying about it, because at that point, what's the point? If you can't trust, if you
That's
have no
true.
trust, there's, and not only that, but you cannot control what somebody else is going to do. And
No.
if anybody is going to do it, they're going to do it. And you have to, like, you don't need them anyway, because you don't deserve that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's how I feel like. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the person that I really wanted to talk about tonight a lot and really get into is what Joe Murray said, and Garth. Because I've been thinking a lot about Garth and the things that Garth said. And then we have some testimony that actually um, is contrary to what he's testified to. Like, first of all, okay, so this afternoon, after I cleaned the house, okay, I was listening to Garth's testimony in the shower, and I'm not even gonna lie, I feel a little weird saying that, But I was okay because I had a lot I had to get done, and I needed to do two things at once. So I was listening to Garth, and he continuously and repeatedly testified to essentially this outbreak of trash pandas, aka raccoons, who were terrorizing the neighborhood. They were getting into the rabbit food. They were, and then they were worried that they were going to start going after the rabbits. The neighbors had problems. There was a compost pile behind the silver shed, and that's where all these bodies of raccoons were amassed. And I'm listen, I'm sure that trash pandas are a problem. Okay. I'm sure that they cause issues, but this seemed to be like a huge deal. There is one part though that I caught that I want to talk to you guys about. And I don't think that Pryor actually listened to his person testifying, because if he had, I think he would have.
So,
Okay, here
Jen,
it is right here.
I was
Yes.
trying to catch up like before the live, and I was just watching a couple different things about court because I'm I'm having a hard time keeping up with both trials. I'm not doing the best job, especially with everything going on with the kids and award ceremonies and parties and my phone going in the water and all the different things. Like it's just
Yes.
so I was trying to catch up this evening, and I saw that the prosecution wants to bring on more witnesses, I guess. They weren't going to, but they decided, would that be rebuttal witnesses? There was a news video I watched, and they were saying,
Can you
it's like
send
2
that to
minutes.
me, babe? Do you know
Yes.
where you got it? Because
Yes.
because they did give their rebuttal.
Okay.
The state did their
Let's see.
rebuttal.
Prosecutors want to call more witnesses. Well, here, I'm going to send it to history before the live.
Okay.
It's only 2 minutes long. And yeah, so I was confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see what that's about,
I'm posting
babe.
the live in Patreon. I'm trying to remember. B Crumbs is like, people never get notified. You can post in Patreon, like to the free members and stuff, to all the members,
That's so
including
smart,
free.
because I keep forgetting to do that too. All right, how are you going to click on StreamYard, Jen? The link that you sent to Allie instead of the damn YouTube link she just sent you. Come on, Gero, get it together. Okay, let's see. Let me see. This is from 5 days ago, so this would have been Friday, right? Let me look for sure.
Yeah, I believe so. That's the way that maybe it was from, double check that. Just so.
Yeah, from May 22nd.
They have a few more on Tuesday. It's to impeach. Okay.
Okay, so they are not done then. Hold on, let me look. What's the chat saying?
Little Red says they have a few more to impeach. Yeah.
Okay. So they were not done. And they didn't have court on Friday. That's right. Okay, so that's what it was. Okay, so now I'm behind.
Hey, Harry's girl. Harry's girl, I'm offended for all of the trash pandas because they're innocent. It's not their fault. They love trash. And well, Chad's a whole dumpster fire full of garbage.
You are sure right about that. Oh my gosh. You guys, if you remember, once y'all check out the emojis, your girl got put up some new emojis for you. Sure did. I forgot all about that. Let me show you guys. I wonder if I can do it because I'm not a member, but it's my chat, right? I should be able to do it.
Yes, you can from YouTube, not on StreamYard, but yeah,
I didn't think that. All right, let's see what we have. Let me tell you what we have. Okay. I added this one, which is Letitia as a troll that says bruh. I added this one, which is the meme I told you guys about Satan and the corn chip. I added this one, which is Shut Up Tisha, and it's one of our video calls with Letitia, and one side is Letitia and on the other side is Roz from
I
Monsters Inc.
love it.
I done covered up Amy. Then I got Snoop.
Oh my God. You
This is
covered up Amy with
I sure did with Roz. Then I made this one. It is a drawing. It is a coloring by the one, the only, my buddy Bentley, that says we have a delay. And then this is another drawing, coloring that Bentley did and sent to me, and it's that ice cream cone, and it's just the ice cream cone. So Bentley has made the stickers. I've been
my God, he's gonna
do it.
flip. He is
Yeah.
gonna flip, Jen. He's gonna be so
You
excited.
have
Thank
to
you.
tell him. You have to tell him, and that. Yeah, I have more coming. Those are ones that I wanted to get done and out for you guys because I was like, bruh, I had to do it. That one it's that one
my God.
from Tune Me, Allie, that you made of Letitia where she's the troll.
Yes. Oh my
And it
God.
just says
I
bruh.
love the ice cream cone. I zoomed in on it. It's so cute. He's
You
gonna
love
love that, which you gotta know that you gotta be pretty special because he was gonna let you come in his clubhouse and not me.
He sure was. And I was gonna add that note because right there it says Jen is allowed, but it also says mom and no mom and dad.
Yeah.
So I was gonna be allowed in Fort Kickass. Abby Krabs,
So
thanks,
funny.
babe.
I
Thank
love
you so
that. That
much.
is freaking awesome. Yes, we do love you all, member or not. That's for
Guys,
sure.
member or not, absolutely, all of you, all of you, all of you.
Those are freaking awesome, dude.
Yes, I have more that are coming. I just okay, so you guys want me to share this really quick, Allie? This thing right here. Hold on. Let me share this that you sent me. Okay. I was listening also to there was so in between the defense resting, remember there was like an in camera which was out of the jury of presence of the jury, and they were arguing about one of the officers who wanted to testify. It was the officer who came out to the house on October 9th for the paintball situation, right? The paintball gun situation with Tammy. And Garth testified that he and his mother showed this officer a picture of what Tammy says the person who's holding the pew pew, the gun looked like, right? On the computer. Well, this officer said, no, that did not happen. I don't appreciate the insinuation. That is lies, blah, blah. He was very upset about it. Okay. Well, the problem was he had been released initially from his subpoena, which means that he was free to watch the trial. And he saw that. So it upset him. And so they wanted to call him to impeach that part of Garth's testimony. But Judge Boyce felt like, although he believes that the officer would get up there and tell the truth and that he really wasn't, tainted, so to speak, it still had the air of impropriety around it, potential impropriety, and he just didn't feel comfortable, so that he did not allow that officer to come and retake the stand. Now, the one that I'm really worried about is I'm wanting to know if you guys think or know, because I did miss some of the testimony. I'm not even fixing to lie. I want to know what we think about hearing from the officer, because now I can't remember which one it was. He was one of the last officers to testify for the state, who is the one that played that call from jail between Chad and Lori. Do we think that he's going to get called back? But let's listen to this first while y'all think about it. Mm-hmm.
More expert witnesses took the stand at Daybell murder trial. The defense was expected to rest their case this afternoon, but the day ended with a twist. The specialist Daniel Woodruff is in Boise to explain.
It was kind of a wild afternoon. Chad Daybell's defense attorney told a judge he is prepared to rest his case, but prosecutors now say they want to call more witnesses after he does that as a rebuttal before closing arguments. That could take an extra day or two. Chad Daybell is on trial accused of murdering 7-year-old J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan and his longtime wife, Tammy Daybell. Chad's current wife, Lori Vallow Daybell, has already been convicted in the same case. Today, jurors heard from a digital forensics examiner called by the defense. He testified about cell phone data collected in 2019 at Chad's Idaho property, right around the time when JJ and Tylee were last seen alive. The witness today said that data shows Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who's now deceased, was on Chad's property during those key dates in 2019, but there was nothing pointing specifically to Chad himself.
There is no identification data showing that any device owned by Chad Daybell is on his property. Is that correct?
Yes, nothing in the evidence showed that.
But prosecutors pointed out the day after Tylee Ryan was last seen, Chad Daybell texted his wife Tammy, telling her he was in the yard, burning limbs, shooting a raccoon, and burying it in his pet cemetery.
And are you aware that there was a pet cemetery on his property?
Yes.
And are you aware that that pet cemetery is the same location that Tylee Ryan was located?
Yes.
Jurors also heard today from a DNA specialist who testified Chad's DNA was not found on any items from his property that were tested in connection with these crimes. Court will resume again in the morning, at which point we expect to get more information about the timeline for the remainder of this trial. In Boise, Daniel Woodruff, KSL 5 News.
Okay. So, yes, babe.
Before you get into that,
yeah.
so I don't know if your link is working for me, because I was going
Which
to
link?
try to buy members. So you should open your phone on the iPhone and click it and see if it, because it's taking me to my YouTube app instead of like where you like get. I'm not seeing the option to gift memberships or even
All
buy
right, hang
memberships.
on, let me see.
Okay. Thank you. I want to get Tiffany and I want to get.
Yeah, it takes me right. If I click the membership link, it takes me right to my channel, and it tells me I can join at all the levels.
Wow,
But
what's
you
wrong
have
with
to
my
be
phone?
because you have to be a member to gift memberships, babe.
I don't even have an option to join, and I'm usually a member. I guess my thing just ran out, but yeah, I'm a member, and I don't even have an option to join. I'm gonna get on my laptop and do it.
Okay.
But,
Well, you don't
yeah.
have to do that. Look, let me do something really quick. Watch this. Un momentito, por favor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know,
Bruh.
man. I'm glad that it takes you to where you can join, because I was wondering if the link was broke. But for me, it takes me to my YouTube app and your channel name, which just has like PayPal links and
that's
Cash
weird.
App, and then your regular.
That's weird because when I click it, it gives me the option to.
Wait, I am a member. I've been a member for 1 year, 6 months, and 26 days. But I can't buy any. What the heck?
Oh, that's weird. All right, hold on. All right, let me go over here. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Music City Mom. Thank you. Yay, she got Tiffany and Truly and Claudia, Patricia and K-Braze. Awesome. Oh my gosh, Jen, yay. Dave G, Scara, Skylab, Lily's Corner, and Scott H.
Yay.
How
Okay,
exciting.
perfect.
Thank
See?
you, Music City Mom.
We did it. Thank you, Music City Mom.
And thank you,
appreciate
Bindi.
that, Big.
She
Thank
got
you,
the
Ange,
first.
for becoming a member.
Because Tiff
What
was
the-
saying the link worked for Ange. What the heck? So it's me. Tiff was saying in the chat, like, I hate to be gray. I just want to be green, and I will be this Friday or something. So I was trying to get her, and Music City Mom got her. Yay.
Oh, good.
And
Okay, well, let me Let's have a little palate cleanser from all this Chad. Ugh.
Okay.
Here we go.
Gossip, blah blah.
No malicious intent or effort was towards it. No malicious.
We all do a little mad sometimes.
All right. Okay. Whew. So we all good? Everybody's good? We got
Yes.
everybody? Good.
And
okay,
the link worked for
perfect.
Ange. Ange
Okay,
got a
perfect.
membership.
Thank
and
you,
it worked
Ange,
out.
for becoming a member, babe. I appreciate that. I want to, let's see. B Crumbs, thank you. Ange, thank you so much. Music City Mom, thank you so much. And hey, YouTube, thanks for letting me gift memberships. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and I've been a member for a long time, and I don't even see, like, you know how you usually get the milestone like
Yes,
where you can leave
you
a
have to go through Google, baby, not at the app. So open it in Chrome.
Okay.
Choose to open it in Chrome. I meant to tell you
Damn,
that.
I've been
but I
here
got
1
this-
year and 6 months.
I
That's crazy.
know. That's crazy.
It is crazy. Time
It feels
freaking
like
flies.
just yesterday. But then also it
I
feels like we've
know.
been through a gang of shit together too.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Oh my God.
A whole bunch of it. But hey, we've come out on the other side of it. And we're all
Yeah,
right.
we have.
We're doing
And
all
we're
right.
still friends. We are doing all
Yeah.
right. That's the most important thing. We've come out from the other side of it. We're still friends and we're doing all right. That's the most
Exactly.
important thing. All right. So now listen, when I was taking a shower, I was listening to old Garth testify. Now, bless his heart, Garth, I felt a little something for Garth. I'm not going to lie. I felt a little bad for him. He seems very confused, very timid. I didn't appreciate prior asking him, though, do you suffer from the same introvert as your father? First of all, you don't suffer, number one. Number two, everybody also says that Tammy was an introvert. So I think that it was rather dismissive. And I know why Pryor didn't want to bring up Tammy. But I also caught another little something that Pryor did with both of the kids.
Okay.
Before talking about Tammy, he said for them to both let him know if they needed a drink of water or a tissue. And I thought that was interesting because then when the kids were questioned about Tammy's death, they were not super emotional. And
Sorry.
I find that interesting because, okay, I miss my mom. She died in 2015. So I'm a few years out of it, and I can speak about my mom and what happened and all that, and not cry. But what happened to my mom was a heart attack. She wasn't murdered. And I just don't understand. And the exhumation, if God forbid, my mom had to be exhumed. I don't think that's the part I would have probably had cried about more than been upset about. You know what I'm saying? After all of this time, I found it was almost like, it was almost like he was giving them a cue, like, hey, we're going to need to see a little bit, we're less raw body, more emotional.
Right.
You know what I mean? because
Yeah.
they were just like not doing it.
Yep.
It was like a cue, and they didn't pick up on it at all,
Well,
like at all.
and let's see. Yeah, it's been 4 years for them because for me, I know like for a recent loss I had, I cannot even go into it at all, but it's been very recent, like the end of last year. But still at this point, like every time I talk about it, I can't. It's just, I don't even want to, I can't even go any further than that, honestly. But yeah. So, but it
Exactly.
has been quite a while for them. And it does seem like a cue, like I can see why you would say that. That makes sense
Yeah,
to
like,
me.
hey, we're going to need you to be a little emotional. Now, listen, and I thought about this too while I was in the shower because Tammy and Garth, and I think Joe also testified to this, that it isn't so much as a goodbye in their minds. It's more like a see you later. We'll be with you. You know, Tammy is with God and all that. And so it's not sadness in that way. And I thought about that, but I don't know. So, there's just something that's not quite right. I can't really believe that. I mean, because there are other people that testified about Tammy who are of the LDS faith, and they were emotional. Do you know what I mean? Her sisters,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
By
just.
the way, Music City Mom. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, babe. No, go
I
ahead.
just didn't want to not answer her. She had asked if we had met in person, and no, we have not. Would love to. I've only met a few people from YouTube in person. LFT and Tia and Leave It to Bieber and Pink Dahlia. But no, I would meet Jen in person. I'd love to meet you guys too. But yeah. So
I've only
sorry. I
met.
just didn't want to not answer.
Oh no, babe, you're fine. I've only met Dr. B and Mo from Rottweiler Investigations.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would love to go hang out with. But Mo and I've been friends since, oh gosh, like 2017, I think. Somewhere in there. 2016, I think, the end of 2016. Yeah, is when we met. We've been friends for a very long time, and
That's
she
cool.
came out in 2020. So it was a long time. We were friends for a long time before. Jade Ray, thank you guys. I appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, but I would love to go and hang out with Allie. I would listen. Allie posted the picture of that trampoline thingy for the water. Man, I want to go get on that so bad, so bad.
I
So
want you to come get on it and just hang out with me by the water all day, and
yes,
it'd be so fun.
Yes, I feel like we are, after all these trials, I feel like we're owed like a vacay and some day drinking for reals.
Yes.
For reals,
It sounds like
reals.
a plan to me. I am not I'm a very quick to be buzzed, so
Me too.
day
I'm a
drinking, I
total,
don't know.
me too. I'm a total lightweight. Like I don't drink very often. And I, like I can hold my own. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can drink, but there are some people that like I will never be able to keep up with. My sister-in-law is one of them.
Yeah.
I cannot keep up with her. I will try, but I can't do it. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a
I can drink, but I can't. And like I said, there's some people I just can't keep up with. Okay. So there's this
used to
part of
be
the testimony. Go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
a lot more into are a little bit delayed.
We are.
New emoji. Don't forget to use the new emojis. But yeah, I used to be way less of a lightweight. But I'm all right with that. We still have a lot of fun. I'd still be down to do it. So.
Me too.
Good.
We can pace
Hey,
ourselves.
I'm gonna
It doesn't
leave and
have
come
to.
back in.
Okay. All right. Leave and come back.
Just to try to fix the delay. Okay.
All right, babe. Sounds good. Hey, I'm Kate Man. What's you doing? Hey, Corky. Hi, everybody coming in from the Jade Raid. I appreciate it, Michelle. Hey. All right, there's Allie. Okay. So this part of the testimony that I wanted to get to was a little bit of a slip, and I didn't catch it the first time, but I did catch it while I was in the shower. So I'd like you to hear this. This is about these, terrible infestation of trash pandas, raccoons running amok all over the Daybell property, just terrorizing the neighborhood. Here we go.
Where he buried that raccoon?
And he showed me that it was buried behind the silver shed.
Okay. Okay. Did he ever say to you that he buried a raccoon in the pet cemetery?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Okay. Now, are we confusing the raccoons? You know that you buried some in the silver shed. Is there possibly that some were buried in the pet cemetery?
I think, or they were all buried behind the silver shed.
Okay.
That was the wrong answer, sir. The answer that John Pryor wanted you to say is, yeah, some of them were buried in the pet cemetery, because what John Pryor is attempting to do here is to explain away the text or the email or whatever it was. Because now I can't even remember whether it was a text or an email. So basically what you have here is the testimony in this aspect started out with, of course, the trash pandas running rampant all over the place, terrorizing the neighborhood. Everybody's trying to do everything to catch these cute, innocent little bandits. Okay. But more to the point, he had at this point already established, both through Emma and through through Garth, that it was Tammy had the pet cemetery. It was her thing. Chad didn't even like dogs, which I'm going to tell you, I didn't hear that the first time it happened when Emma said it. I heard it on the second time. And I'm not going to lie, right then my red flag went up. You cannot trust people that don't like animals, period. That's just how I feel. Something is bad wrong with people that don't like animals. Now, I mean, I just feel that way. Animals are everything. Okay. So, and it's one thing to say, I like dogs, I like cats, but we don't have the kind of household that is conducive to having a pet. That's different than saying I don't like animals. Right. Very, very different. And that's a big statement. And I don't be trusting people that don't like animals. So anywho, all the way. So now they've established that that Tammy was primarily responsible for, really solely responsible for the pet cemetery. Not only that, but if Chad were going to bury an animal or do anything with the pet cemetery, he would have consulted Tammy first. This is Pryor's way of trying to explain that text between Chad and Tammy about this raccoon, which obviously was a big ass fail, because even Emma testified that the pet cemetery was exactly that, the pet cemetery. It was for the pets. It may, and some like strays that might have been hit by cars, stuff like that, right. But not trash pandas that had been terrorizing the neighborhood all fucking summer long, according to John Pryor and Chad Daybell. Okay. They had their own burial site, which was over by the silver shed. So that was a huge, huge fail. Okay. Now, let me make this smaller so that I can search the transcript. And what do I want to let me try it like this.
And Natasha says, I don't trust anyone that doesn't like animals or babies, period. Or nature. The fuck
correct.
Is wrong with you?
Correct.
And I'm the same. And nature, as babies in nature especially. I love animals, but I super love babies and nature. I mean, I love my animals the most, of course, like my dog.
Right.
But you should see Rambo when I get in the water, Jen. Like,
does he worry for you?
Yeah. Yes. First of all, when I lay out on the dock, he comes and lays so close to me, like his butt is touching my arm, like lays on top of me and will not scoot over. But then
Oh, he's
when I get in
protecting
the
you.
float, like yeah. Then when I get in the float and like it starts, just as soon as I get in, he follows me over. But like when it just I push my leg off, he's like crying and whimpering and like acting like he wants to jump in so bad. And he's like, he's just such a nervous wreck. It's so sweet. I got to
Aw.
get him some doggy steps so he can come in
Yeah,
because
you
he
do. Does he like the
really
water?
wants in. Yeah, he does, but he doesn't like the jump to it because it's like a 4 foot. He can't climb
Oh,
down the ladder. So that's the
um,
part I think that gets him stopped. But we've put him in a couple times and he swims and he swims like crazy. But he will.
see, Nestor loves the water. But unfortunately, you have to be, well, he can't do it anymore, but back in the day, there are beaches in Florida where your dogs are allowed to go. But Nestor can be somewhat embarrassing because for whatever reason, water makes him boo boo. And so sometimes, but yeah, he loves the water. He loves to swim. But he will like be in the mid swim and look over and be like, "Hey, Bob, remember that time I told you water makes me boo boo? It's happening now." Look at him, and I'm like, "This is Nestor every time." But yeah, it's just part of the magic that is Nestor. The
That's so
absolute
funny.
magic. It is funny. See, I can't understand. I can understand and recognizing that you don't have a lifestyle that's conducive to having a pet in your home, because I do think that that's like the right thing to do. You got to know your lifestyle, all the things, right? Before bringing in a pet. But to straight say I don't like any, you don't, I mean, some people are cat people, some people are dog people, they prefer, but it's not like they have like they would, I don't know, it's just weird to say I don't like animals. It's not a good, I don't know, it's just not a good, oh god, this
Yeah,
my fucking back. Mm. Anyway,
I get
yes,
exactly
Michelle,
what
you
you
have
mean.
no sound. It's definitely you, babe, because I'm totes talking and everybody else can hear me.
Oh
Well,
no, yeah.
yeah. I mean, Nestor loves the water and he's a really good swimmer. Um, when we had our black lab Baxter, we had a pool, an in-ground pool. Oh my God. Now we had another chocolate lab. His name was Buddy. Buddy was the jumper in. He loved to jump in the pool, but Baxter was a gentleman and a scholar and would use the steps and then, like do a lap and get out and then do another lap and get out. He was just the best.
That
I
is
miss
so
Baxter.
cute. Just like
Yes.
up and down the steps like a human.
Yeah, he would just saunter on
Sorry,
down the
dogs are
steps,
adorable.
and then he would do a lap because it was it had a diving board, so it was deep. That's what Buddy liked. Buddy liked to jump in the deep end. But yeah, he
It's so funny.
yeah, I just don't
Um,
swim next to Ness. It's when he gets out, like as he's coming ashore, Little Red, that he'll turn around and look, Bob, is happening again. It's he's like embarrassed too, you know.
look what Melissa said.
God.
She said, I just don't trust cats. They judge me and know all my life secrets.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
cats. I will say this, and I'm not going to lie to you, MJ. Tell it to you
They
straight.
really do.
Alice is a judgy cat. She judges me all the time. Okay. Like there's nothing like getting out of the shower and walking into your bedroom and seeing your cat on the bed. You take that towel off and that face, that really lets you know where you stand. Okay.
She's
She
like,
really
damn,
will.
mom.
She's like, Jesus, Mom, I thought you were working out, bitch. What happened? there's things flopping all over the place in here.
All cats
But
judge. Hashtag all cats judge.
they do. All cats judge. But let me tell you something. They might be judgy, but neither Alice nor Mac are snitches. They do not snitch. They've held my secrets. Now, they may judge the shit out of me and give me the most throwed off, dirty looks, but they do not snitch. So,
well, I guess that's the upside to it. But
oh my God.
anyway,
My
you
cat,
guys are funny.
have y'all ever noticed that cats do that they sit and watch you while you clean their litter box? Now, the way that Alice looks at me, it's more, it's not like, yeah, human, do your job, right? No, it's more like, I need to supervise you because you do not possess the necessary skill set to adequately clean my litter box in the manner that I like it. So I'm going to need to supervise you. That's how Alice looks at me.
She does. You send pictures of her with that look, and she's
where she's like, peasants. My favorite part, though, is when she's sitting on top of the coffee table and Mac walks by and she smacks him on the ass.
She's like, what? With her
she does. She pops him right on the butt and he gives him the skibbity paps. My favorite, though, is when he gets like it's time to go to bed and everybody's finding their spots, right? Although why they need to find them, I don't know. They sleep in the same spot every night. But Mac sometimes he will get over the line into her spot and she will smack him on the top of the head. She gives him them skibbity paps. And I know that his little brain gets rattled, but his top of his hair, the hair on the top of his head gets all messed up and he looks all confused.
Aww.
And he is huge compared to her. Allie will tell you, I've sent pictures. She's little compared to him. But she runs the show.
She's the boss, yeah.
She's the boss.
That one,
right.
There's one picture that you had of her. Did you use it for emoji or something?
Yes, I think I have it in here.
Oh my God,
Alice, that she's unimpressed.
Yeah, she's the sassiest. Look at Crime Crochet and Coffee says, I obviously love cats. I have 16 of them. And then B Crumb said 16. Yep, 16 cats. She says they all live outside in their own little house, but yes.
Aww, how cute. I would be arrested. I would love to be arrested. Okay. So we got way off track.
I know that we did, but and those cat slaps are hysterical. They are just
hysterical. The skibbity cats are my favorite.
They just sit there like so serious and real fast.
Yes. Alice gives Mac the 1-2 buck my shoe like real quick. She's real fast with it. And no shit. She doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap that he's humongous compared to her. She doesn't care. She's like, no, this is the line. You put that toe over the line and now you get what you get. Okay. So then we have Garth talking about how we got woken up. What? What are you laughing at?
She's like, this is the line. You cross the line and you get what you get. So then we have Garth.
Oh my God. You know what? Let's forget this. Let me just go find my part on Queen Bees to show you guys because that part was classic Jen. Hold on.
Well, I definitely do want to see that. But
yeah, this is devolved into we're not even talking about, and I don't even feel like talking about it at this point. Now I kind of just want to chat with you guys and chill.
Okay, that sounds like a fun time for me.
I will
I gotta ask you, Bendy, what happens in Idaho for a death penalty case? Like, is there that penalty phase after? And is that going to be after these states' next witnesses? Like, that's just so confusing.
Hang on just a second. Let me find this part real quick.
Oh, Kelly P gifted a membership.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Kelly P.
Hold on, let me find it when I came up.
My face was hurting.
For this.
My 12-pound kitty sometimes bullies my 26-pound orange tabby. Holy cow, Michelle. That's a big old orange tabby. Orange cats there's something different about those cats. I'm telling you.
Hold on, I gotta find this. Let me find this part.
Okay.
Shit. Heel.
I bet it's hard because she uses that screen, like, when you do
She
open panel.
says she does. She was really sweet to let me up. Oh, it's after this.
Did you watch the interview room?
I caught a little bit of it, but not from his channel.
Well, I watched some of it and oh my God, I am so disappointed. I really am. Because a lot of people who are new to YouTube will see that these people, like, they'll see someone that maybe is an expert, like for instance with Jennifer Coffindaffer, you see FBI, and at the end of the day they do spread like some dangerous concepts that you should have seen the things they were turning into. They basically said, like, to say it without saying it, that there was a murder that occurred. And yeah, and they were really shading the parents on everything they said. Katie says, he told me he loved me and we went to bed. And they're like, oh, why do you have to tell that he told you he loved you? Like, why do you need people to know? Just every little thing she said like that. It was like, wow, I couldn't believe the inferences they were making from little things she would say.
Okay, so you asked me about, okay, so I'm going to answer you, but I'm going to answer your first question first.
Okay.
So you were asking me what happens in a death penalty case with Idaho.
Yes.
So, okay, this is what's going to happen. Whenever the state finally rests completely, their rebuttal is over, there will be closing arguments. So the state will get a closing argument, the defense will get a closing argument, and then the state might get a rebuttal closing argument. Then it goes back to the jury for them to deliberate. So should the jury come back and say, okay, Chad's guilty, then it moves on into the penalty phase. So it's actually almost like a second trial in a way, but it only has to do with really so the state will argue and put on evidence, as it's much longer than like when we watched Adam Montgomery and his sentencing. It's going to be much longer than that. So the state will put on evidence as to why they feel that Chad should get the death penalty. And then the defense will put on their why Chad should not get the death penalty. And then the jury will go back and deliberate again.
Okay. So I watched one out of Texas. Do you remember the Avias Burgos? Yes, and that's how they did it. So I was curious. That's the only one I've ever seen, though. That's death penalty.
So yes, yeah, that's what will happen. So yes, crime, crochet, and coffee. There will be more rebuttal witnesses. I just want there to be the guy that I want them to play that jail visit with Emma and Chad.
Oh, I do too. I want to get those. I think I want to get those. I'm wondering. I'm sure that East Idaho News is going to request it, but maybe we should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, we should. I think we should too. Just get ahead, get in the queue, as it were. Okay. Now your second question, which now I've already forgot. What was the second question, babe, that you asked me?
The interview room.
Oh, the inferences. So this is what I honestly think has happened in this case, with respect to the things that Katie and Chris Proudfoot are saying. I think people are way over analyzing the majority of the things that they're saying. I think that when I heard Katie and Chris on Queen Bee's panel the first time, To me, what it sounded like is a mom talking about her child and her memories of her child. That is how I took it. And I thought the same for Seth
Yeah.
or for Chris. I didn't think that him saying, I didn't hear him put Sebastian down. I didn't hear them disparage Sebastian
Thank
in
you.
any way. I didn't
Wow.
understand that. And I did not understand the implications. Oh,
Jen,
Scott says
the
that,
goofy smile.
yes,
So,
Scott says Nate said Idaho doesn't publish jail calls unless they were played at trial.
wow. Okay. But can we, I wonder if we can get any, his jail records or anything, not necessarily the visits or the calls, but just other incident reports and stuff.
Control. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We ask and they say no.
Right.
You
Let
know,
him
so
say,
I did not, when I heard Chris say that Sebastian had a goofy smile, I did not derive a negative inference from that. I didn't think it was said in a negative way. I didn't take
Oh.
it negatively. I didn't think he was disparaging him, but I understand there are people that took it a completely different way. And I guess, I mean, we're all entitled to our opinion. I just happen to disagree.
I mean, I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, but come on, man. If you've never said your kids are goofy or have done something goofy,
Right.
I heard the way I heard one, like I've heard people talking about it like it was the worst thing they could have ever said. Like that's what made up their mind about that they were, whatever. Like
Right.
once I heard them say that, I knew it. I was done with them then. It's like, what?
Well, I didn't understand that either. MK, thank you so much, MK. Leanne,
Aw.
so generous. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I don't understand that. I just don't understand the scrutiny on every little thing. This is just how I feel about it. I think that there is a lot of over analyzing and looking for the negative where there isn't anything negative to be found.
Yeah.
I think that this is how I feel about the whole professionals, quote unquote, situation. Okay. And even experts giving their opinions on a case. Those experts that are giving their opinions on the case are not privy to anything more than what you and I, as the general public, are privy to. What they do have that we don't have are, the training, the education, and job experience. Okay. We don't have that. Well, I don't have it. I'm sure some people do, but I don't have that. But they don't know anything more about a specific and particular case than we do. They are only privy to what the public is privy to. There's no secret stash of information. So what they're analyzing is the same material that we are. And while I respect people who are experts being called in and consulted for their opinion, I think that it's important to remember and keep it in perspective, because all they are giving is an opinion. They're not involved in, especially now. They're not involved. They aren't privy to information that isn't public in an open case. It's different when you have like Dr. Henry Lee, or God rest his soul, Dr. Cyril Wecht, who's passed away. We won't be hearing his, he won't be consulted anymore in cases that he was such a treasure to the forensic community. But anyways, when they're called in and they're consulting on cases that are no longer open, they're closed, or they're consulting on a case, they're called in as expert witnesses for like the trial. to testify for the defense or something, that's different. Then they are privy to stuff that weren't, that's part of the discovery. But on an open investigation, they're not. And so it's important to keep that in perspective. And it's important to remember that they're only giving their opinion based on the information that they're given. And I think that it's very, very dangerous to have a panel of, oh, no, nobody want to hear Jen Lou twice. I think dangerous is probably too strong of a word. I think it's irresponsible to invite these experts on a panel and only give them clips of an interview. If they're going to be consulted and you want their opinion, I think you should show everything, not just certain parts.
He was playing this in full, but they were very critical, and every little thing she said, things that I would say, like just normal things, were being kind of made into being a bad thing. And it was, I don't know, it was interesting. But I do know this: when I first came around, what in the world? Did you hear that?
No.
When I first came around YouTube, what in the world? Sorry.
What are you hearing, babe?
Like some kind of loud quack. I don't know.
A loud quack?
I don't know what it is. It sounds like that. Hold on.
Are the trash pandas starting to come for you? You know how the raccoons like to terrorize neighborhoods. Ask Chad.
I hope
Are
it
you
doesn't
okay?
begin so you can hear. Yeah, I'm okay. It just freaked me out. I'm sorry. See?
Okay. That sounds like frogs.
Oh, it's way loud. It's like I don't know what the heck it is. It sounds like something awful.
Maybe it's some kind of crazy ass trash panda Sasquatch hybrid.
Anyways, I'm just gonna turn the outside lights on. But
there you go.
So I know this. When I first came around YouTube, like I would see these ex law enforcement officers and lawyers or anyone that's a professional in whatever the subject is, and I still can appreciate their opinions. Most of the time I really enjoy and learn a lot from them, but I would hear them and I would just take everything they said as a fact and be like, I don't know, you hold their opinions at a higher like level. I don't know, but now after watching for a long time, I've seen some of them be so wrong. I've seen some of them do the craziest wild. Look at Coffindaffer, taking those pictures and all the wild shit she said and the people she's accused of stuff. And I mean, not to mention, if Chris McDonough, he has a long history of false accusations under his belt, even in the courtroom and stuff. And that's just me saying it, not Jen. I'm just saying that these are humans and they're not perfect and they can be wrong. And I think that we have to remember that. And it's hard, especially if you're newer to the YouTube true crime scene and you see these, like I said, you take what they say more seriously, but just remember that, there's good and bad in every profession, and they're human too, all of them.
Absolutely. Okay. So here we go. This is the time when your girl I'd had enough of Heather. She was on some other panel and Queen Bee was playing it and I had to click the link. So here is what had happened.
What's up, Jen? How you doing, baby?
Hey babe, how are you? I can't take this girl, Queen. She gets on my
She's working my fucking nerve right now, lying like this.
Girl.
Jen.
She has changed her story now 11 billion times. How are you a PI, but you got experience with the media and crowdsourcing, but you cannot figure out where a leak, and yes, ma'am, I don't give a rat's fat kneecap what you say or what you like or don't like. It was a leak, ma'am, of 6 people. You sent this audio to 6 people and you can't figure out of those 6 people who sent it off. You need to stop.
leaked it,
How are
right?
you going to find a missing child, a missing anything? I wouldn't trust you to find a missing sock from the dryer at this point. I might have been extra right there. On my damn nerves. That's all I wanted to say, Queen. Thank you for letting me up, babe. Because if I sit up here with her, I'll just continue to read her for filth, and y'all will never get through this.
I'm down for it. I appreciate you coming.
And I don't count OnlyFans as having experience with the media either.
I mean, it is a form of media. It is a medium.
What do you mean?
Stop it. Y'all are wrong for that.
I'm just saying, there's some, I mean, you know. Okay, well, we'll just keep on moving.
Yes.
You don't know about that, B10?
No, I don't.
Tim doesn't like that stuff.
I'm sorry, what?
She had, that's what the rumor mill is. Allegedly, she came from OnlyFans.
I think there's just a little bit more I say, and then that's it.
Oh, hell.
But I
Somebody
had
said
fun.
they found her. I can't remember.
Yeah, so that was basically it. I got annoyed because, listen, I have to get this off my chest. I haven't covered Sebastian. I haven't covered any of the drama. I've kind of, I've listened to it. I've participated in some chats. I participated in a couple of panels. But, like, I've had enough of this. Every time I turn around, there's a new expert and they have this to say and they have that to say. Well, okay. Heather, the PI, has changed her story no less than at least 4 or 5 times. Right. First, she said she has no idea how Tony got that audio. And I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that audio for just a moment here. I'm not going to go into the content of the audio because that's not the important, that's not the part I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is this quote unquote leak. Heather is very offended at the word leak. Well, let me tell you something, Heather, by your own story, which is also changed like 4 or 5 times, right? You don't want to call it a leak. Well, it's either a leak or it was intentional. How do you want me to refer it? Because a leak implies that you trusted the wrong people. Intentional implies exactly that you did it not on an accident, that you did it on purpose to interfere in a custody case. So she, has changed her story, right? First, she had Tony is the one that gave it to Seth, but she had no idea how Tony got it, which in my opinion is a huge problem. Then she said, well, at the end of the day, it got to my client, which is Seth. So it's all good. No biggie. And also it's part of the record in a court case. It's public. You can FOIA it. Ma'am, no, you cannot. I mean, you can FOIA. You can FOIA request anything. Okay. Just because you can doesn't mean you will get it. All right. Like we can FOIA request Chad's phone calls. Does that mean we will get Chad's phone calls? Hell no, it doesn't. Just means we can request. You will not get records from a custody case involving minors. The end. Here she is, like Stephanie Lazarus talking about, let me check my files. Shut your mouth. I only emailed it to 5 people. The original story was 6 people because that's what she copped to on the Facebooks.
None of the people who have been brought into these people's lives due to Sebastian being missing have any business being involved in their custody stuff at all, period.
Correct.
They did. It's so frustrating. If you don't see someone parent, how do you know?
Exactly right. When of this period of time since Sebastian has been missing, which has been 90 days.
Yeah.
Which would be the worst 90 days of these parents' life, all 3 of them. Seth is included in this. And I feel like what's happened is there is a parent. There are 3 parents. one set of parents, Chris and Katie, have elected to trust in law enforcement and work with law enforcement, which is their choice. It is their right. Seth, on the other hand, is desperate. He says that law enforcement is no longer communicating with him for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. That's just how he feels. And at the end of the day, it's the way he feels, in my opinion, that has led to what has led to this occurring. It's my opinion that Seth is desperate and that he is entertaining people who are charlatans. They cannot bring they cannot find his child. It's not that there aren't people out there that are capable, but these people are not the ones that are capable. And he's being, in my opinion, they're taking advantage of a father who is desperate for answers. And this is not anything new in true crime cases. Sometimes cases like Madeline Soto, her case, as sad as that ending was we knew what happened to Madeline. It was somewhat resolved fairly quickly. It didn't take long to find her. It didn't take long for Stephen Stearns to be arrested and then subsequently charged with her murder. Okay. This case isn't like that.
Yeah.
And there are missing people cases, missing children's cases that do not get resolved quickly. Yeah. And that tips and leads start to dry up. The leads don't pan out. The tips don't come in as fast. But the desperation and the need for the parents and the loved ones to know where their child is or children are, that never dissipates. It never gets easier. As the days go on, it gets harder. And I think that's what's happened in this situation. I think that Seth is so desperate for answers and to find his son that he has fallen in with and been taken advantage and exploited by people who don't really know what they're doing at all.
What about when people say kids just don't disappear? They don't just vanish into thin air, which I can get that, but yes, they do. They do all the time. There are kids that go missing all the time and they're missing for 10, 20 years. There are kids that go missing, have been missing for 50 years. There are huge conspiracies around some of them. Yes, they do. There are kids that go missing that you have never heard of, you've never seen, because they happen so frequently and they're covered so infrequently, you don't see it. But it does happen all the time.
It does, but usually those cases are cases where it's not the parents. It's an abduction.
What if there is an abduction? We don't know. What if you know someone online and they?
But most people are of the opinion that that's not what happened. That something happened. And let's be honest, let's just call it what it is. I don't share this opinion. I want to be very, very clear. Okay. I don't know what happened, and I am not going to sit up here and pretend that I do, but there are people, and they're very vocal, who believe that Chris and Katie, one or both of them, are responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian. That is a theory. Personally, how I feel is that I don't think Chris or Katie or Seth had anything to do with it. And the reason I don't think that they did is because usually in those cases, there's some evidence. There's not this vanishing without a trace. That typically happens when there's an abduction or a luring or somebody else is involved that is not known to the family. Sebastian might know who they are, but Katie, Chris, and Seth don't.
Right. Well, and I was watching Michelle After Dark this morning from Michelle Walks, and she was playing the police saying multiple times that all the parents are cooperating to the fullest extent. And then the reporters ask, is there any, something about the parents? And he says, no, there are absolutely no signs. There is no evidence that leads to foul play, and they are cooperating to the fullest extent. I mean,
Exactly. I'm going to have to, Allie, do not let me forget that I need to do a different thumbnail and change the title.
Okay.
Because I don't want people that are wanting to hear about Daybell. We just got distracted. And I actually think I've been wanting to have a live like this. I've been wanting to talk about some of these things for quite some time, but I've just not known how to go about doing it, because typically that isn't usually what I do. But in the very beginning, when Sebastian first went missing, it was Music City Mom who sent Allie and I the missing persons flyer. I posted it on my community wall. Allie posted it on hers. Then it started to get some coverage on YouTube. I made a video because when I made that video, it's when the drama was just starting. And I wanted to remind people that it's about Sebastian. And so when I hear people saying things like, they weren't asked the hard questions on Queens. First and foremost, Queen's channel hers is more of having a conversation channel. So when Chris and Katie clicked that link, oh my God, thank you so much, Little Red Eye Riding Hood 555. I appreciate that. Thank you. When Chris and Katie clicked the link the first night, now I haven't heard their when they went up there last night. I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, but it was a conversation. It was not planned,
Right.
which an interview is more something that they're coming on your panel and you have an idea of the things that you would like to ask them. But when it happens in the way that it happened on Queens, all she was doing was having a conversation with them. That's all her panel was doing, was having a conversation with them. And I frankly thought it was actually quite interesting. It was good to hear about Sebastian, about the things that make Sebastian uniquely Sebastian. His favorite foods, his favorite cereals, the kind of cheese that he likes, just all of those things. It was refreshing to hear that versus, hearing some drama and digging up somebody from their past, that they rode the bus to school with in third grade. Like, I don't, that's not going to get us any closer to finding Sebastian, and I don't want to tell other creators what to do on their channels. That's not my job. That's not my responsibility. I would never do that. But I'm just saying what I appreciated about what Queen did. And she's taken like a rash of shit. She's taken quite a bit of heat saying, well, Queen didn't ask the hard questions. Well, let me just say this in Queen's defense. First and foremost, it wasn't an interview. Let's start there. But more importantly than that, even law enforcement has asked the hard questions.
Yes.
YouTube doesn't need to be doing it.
Did you see what Shauna said in the chat? She said her son works with Chris and they all went out to eat last weekend. But she said, I know for a fact Chris was at work on Monday at 5 a.m. My son works with him. And Shauna is with us all the time. I definitely do believe her. That's just me, but that's interesting.
I do. This is the thing. Good night, Corky. I think that what we're seeing in Chris and Katie and Seth is different people handling the same situation differently. Chris and Katie have each other to do that, to go through this together. They're going through this together. Seth doesn't have a significant other. And so I think what happened with Seth is in the downtime, which during the night I would think would be the hardest time. First, when you can no longer search because it's dark and it's not safe, and you're home, and I think that for him, I think he reached out to YouTube for a couple of reasons. I think he wanted to get, you know, I think he wanted to talk about his son and the fact that he's missing, and I think that it was a way for him to fill the hours between stopping the search and resuming the search the next day. That's just what I think. That's just,
I personally don't think any of the parents were involved. In the beginning was when I heard like the camera thing, which I've talked to you about. That's likely to happen. It happened on my cameras here where you don't always see the thing that sets it off. There are things that have had me questioning, but at the end of the day, it's like this, and this is how I feel about Dawn and Candace too. The police have not said they're suspects. They have not arrested them. When the police come out, now with Dawn and Candace, they have said they weren't cooperating at one time, but Ronnie Lawson straight up said that on the news. But I will say, the moment that Chris or Katie or Seth or anyone was to get arrested for if something was to happen to him and they were to get arrested for it, then it's appropriate to tear apart their body language and everything they say. It's similar to the way Stephen Stern's interviews were done after we knew, it could happen so fast. We knew it's different, I think, once they've been arrested to do that. But there's nothing saying that they're suspects. The police are saying they're cooperating. There's no signs of foul play. We don't know better than the police. I don't know who the hell people start to think they are at a certain point,
Right. And I understand listening to, it's important to, how else are we going to know about Sebastian if we don't listen to Chris, Katie, and Seth, right? They knew him. They know him, right? They're the ones that know him the best, right? Yeah. So of course it's good to listen to them. However, look what I just did there. I said knew and then corrected it to no. But I'm talking about listening to Katie and Chris and Seth in the past tense because they've already given an interview. So I'm referring to an interview and listening in the past tense. So of course, knew would be the correct tense to use. However, grammatically, they still know him. They currently know him. So knowing would be you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See how easy it is to do that?
I was watching, and this was like a year or two ago, about that type of thing. And it was like a expert who was saying, a language expert or whatever, that was saying, it's natural to use the past tense even after a short period of time, like a week or two, because they're out of their lives and that person is thinking the worst. And by that point, it's natural. You can't help it. I mean, I don't know. People just overanalyze every little thing. I feel like some of the people that are doing it, if their kids went missing, their lives would be torn apart and they are no better. If my kids went missing, same. Like, no, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I can imagine every little word that I said being torn
would be
apart.
dissected.
How awful that would be.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the thing is, when Chris and Katie and Seth are speaking about a memory or something that, an event that happened with Sebastian, it's going to be in the past tense because it's not happening right now. So I think that,
if they would lumen all that house, folks would feel different. But Lil Red, police have said that they have cooperated every step of the way. If you go watch the press conferences, or if you watch I think it was the live or the video, either a live or a video Michelle After Dark did in the middle of the night last night. I'll try to find it. when I woke up, I saw it. And she's playing clips of the police talking about it. And they're saying there are absolutely no signs of foul play. There is zero evidence. And they say it so firm like that because the reporter asked them multiple different ways. And they said, there are no signs of foul play. Everyone is cooperating to the fullest extent. Like they're, and until they're not, with Dawn and Candace, there hasn't been an arrest. So I'm trying to keep my mouth shut about anything that once gave me pause. But at the end of the day, the truth is the police even came out and said they weren't cooperating. So that's a little different. These parents are cooperating. Like,
right. And Lil Red, I can see how I can see how it would in the beginning, in the very early days of the of Sebastian being missing. I can see how it would feel like the story that Letitia gave about Gannon, except for the fact that the parents, actually Katie, Chris, and Seth, have said they don't know, and Letitia started giving ridiculous stories from the beginning. She started with maybe he ran. First, it was he didn't come. He went to his friend's house and he didn't come back. And it was, it was getting time for him, for them to go to eat and blah, blah, blah. Right. The lies were immediate. Then when Alf got into town and they sat at the Starbucks, then it was, the Swisher sweets, and the bath salts, and all of it was ridiculous. And then and her avoidance of law enforcement, where Chris, Katie, and Seth have all been the opposite. They've cooperated. They've gone in willingly. They're not chasing them around. I mean, how many times did Letitia break, say she was going to go down to the police station and give an interview and then didn't show up. And when she finally did show up, I mean,
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, it was immediate. It wasn't, yeah, it was, I don't know. It wasn't the same story, which people have said they've changed their story. I don't know. It's interesting the way people perceive certain words. And I think some of that is because of the creators who relay the information and how they perceive it and might like give their thoughts on it. I think that can influence the viewer's opinion too. Even mine, I catch myself doing that. So
I mean, I know that when I was putting together the stuff for Gypsy, if I wanted to convince to only put out information that was negative, that showed Gypsy in a negative light, I could do that. It's so, but I would rather, I'll just put out the information, take its information. You guys can decide if the information that I've provided is negative or whatever. How you decide the weight and of the evidence. But that's just how, like, I prefer to do it.
Queen of Hearts says, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, babe. No, but go ahead.
She said police said they had been through the house at least 10 times. I didn't even know that. So
they've been through the house a ton of times. They've been through the vehicles a ton of times. The thing about, okay, so law enforcement doesn't start to not have leads, and then all of a sudden they go in and use luminol. Just to make, just cause. There has to be a reason for them to do that. Right. And at this point, they've been through that house. And that's another thing. The reason they went through Letitia and Al's house repeatedly. And every time they went through, they found a little something and then a little more something. And that led to another thing and another, and the carpet and all the things like that, which Al had nothing to do with anything, but it was their residence. So that's why I said it that way. But there were things wrong, very wrong, from the beginning. They've obviously not seen anything that would give them pause or a reason to use luminol. They didn't just go spraying Letitia's, the Stout residence for luminol for no reason. They found blood.
Right.
There were blood drops.
Yeah.
And there were wipe marks. And that's why they decided to use luminol, because they wanted to see where the rest of it was. It
But you
wasn't
know,
just, you know.
I've seen a lot of people say that. What Lil Red said, like people who are very suspicious of Chris and Katie. A
Mhm.
lot of people are like, why haven't they used luminol? And yeah, I mean, I don't know. They'd have to have a reason to do that, but they've searched the house plenty of times. So you would think if there was, I don't know, if there was a reason, and we don't know that they haven't. How do we know? If they've been in the house 10 times, I don't know what they've done in the house. Like,
Right.
nobody
We
knows.
don't know what they've done in the house. So we could all be arguing a moot point. They could have used luminol and we don't know about it yet.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not privy to that part of the conversation. And I think, Lil Red, this is just how I interpreted what Chris Proudfoot had said. I don't think Chris Proudfoot has come out and said specifically no new dogs. I think what he had an issue with is the dog handler that was suggested. I think he wanted time. I mean, it's not like, so think about it in terms of time wise. Okay. From the time that not from the time that Sebastian went missing. I'm talking about, think about from the very first time that Chris was on a panel on YouTube. And that up until the introduction or the suggestion of a dog handler, all of the things that had been said about him on YouTube, I would not want somebody from you that was suggested to me through YouTube to come and do a search. I would not, if I were going to allow dogs to come and search my house, I would want it to come from a source that law enforcement had vetted, not YouTube, not social media in any way, shape, or form. And I think that is what his objection is, not the actual searching. That's what I think.
Completely agree. And before YouTube even started watching Sebastian's case, there was massive search efforts. I believe, wasn't EquiSearch even there? I mean, some of the best professionals and the best legit nonprofits like EquiSearch and places like that and people like that. So I mean, there was, I don't know, there was a lot of searching done. Now, I know there was that, didn't a dog follow his scent to the retention pond and Chris said it even jumped in the water? Did I hear that right?
I don't recall. I don't know if Chris said it, but I did hear that story as well. Yes.
Okay, I thought I heard like in the last couple days, like in one of these newer interviews, he said it somewhere. But so dogs have went. I mean, I don't know. We can't get hung up on those little things. We don't know the investigation. All we know is that police have told us, they're cooperating. And I just think it's a mistake to get hung up on little details that probably could mean nothing. I've seen so many times with these social media, like brigades, that it goes wrong and they're after the wrong person. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that, I think that it's important to keep in mind that our perceptions are shaped by our experiences. And I think that we should just remember that. And I think that we should remember that our perceptions of certain situations or conversations are just that. It's the way that we perceive the information, not necessarily the way not the way that the person giving the information intended. We see it all the time in our interpersonal relationships where somebody will say something to you, you perceive it and it hurts your feelings, and you say to that person, hey, bruh, you just hurt my feelings, and the person says, oh my gosh, that was not my intention. I got snippy with Allie like 3 days ago or 4 days ago because I was tired, and snippy with the chat, and it wasn't my intention. I wasn't intentionally being,
okay.
I wasn't trying to be mean, and I didn't want to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. And I apologized for it, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you guys could have taken that and been like, damn, Jen Lou, you're a bitch,
Oh, I don't know. I would
and
not
been
take
done
that.
with it. But there are people out there that would have.
Yeah, you're right. Well, even like this, like these discussions, I like it. I don't have to agree with my friends. Matter of fact, like a lot of things that my friends think, I don't agree with. Like, I was just having a discussion with a couple of my friends the other day politically, and we totally disagree. Don't care at all. Don't get like, I like it. And sometimes it's almost like a challenge. Like, I feel like I think I can change your mind, maybe.
See, and
And
we're all like, here's the thing about all of that. We don't all have to agree to get along. I think I know for a fact that Allie is the type of person. I've disagreed with her before. We had private perceptions of cases, and I've seen it one way and Allie has seen it another way.
Yeah.
But she's not like, that's it, we're not friends anymore, blocked. And I don't say, that's it, we're not friends anymore, blocked. Like, it doesn't, work like that. I think that at the end of the day, I can say for 100% fact that everybody in this chat that's commenting right now, even if we don't agree, I know that your heart is in the right place. And that at the end of the day, all you really care about is that Sebastian gets brought home safe and sound, and that this has a good ending, a happy ending. I know that's where your hearts are at. I know that's your intention. So even if we don't agree on on things with the parents or aspects of the case, I know your heart's in the right place. You're not just arguing because, you're trying to be cruel or mean, or just argue with, just to be obtuse or obstinate,
and I agree, and I love that. And I got to bring up this point though to you, Jen, with when it comes to the luminol and all that. Michelle says also, you can't. They may have done something that didn't produce blood, which is another point. Luminol doesn't necessarily show everything, anyways. You know
Correct.
what I mean? And
Correct.
if they had done it, we wouldn't know the results.
Exactly. I mean, I will say this. I truly believe that I truly believe that law enforcement wants the exact same thing that we all do, which is they want to find Sebastian. They want to bring him home and have him be found safe and sound. Okay. That's their goal. So to that end, I don't think for 1 second that they haven't done everything in their power and at their disposal to try to elicit that information from the people that knew Sebastian the most. When particularly children, although the circle gets bigger the older the child goes, but they start from the inner circle and they work outward. And I think, judging by the way that law enforcement is behaving, to me, it seems like they're moving from the inner circle into more outward. And when, and I just don't think, that's just how I feel.
It's so scary to think about though, Jen, because like, let's say, and if, all the parents are completely innocent, just for discussion's sake.
Okay.
Which I believe that anyways, until I see evidence that show me otherwise, like real evidence. But like, just for anybody who doesn't believe that too, just for a second, they're all innocent.
then where is this kid? It's so scary to think about. Like,
It is scary.
yeah, it's the internet, or
And I
even
think the
a
reason why we're
on the
also
road.
scared is this kind of stuff has been happening forever, unfortunately. But I think the reason why it's particularly scary in this day and age is because we are so connected with one another. We have so much information at our fingertips. And let's be honest, especially, I don't know about other countries. I know about the United States. It's almost impossible not to be caught on a camera somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that is why we're all so freaked out, because it does appear it's not, I think the right term is not, it's more like not vanished into thin air, but vanished without a trace. At least from the outside, and what we've been told by law enforcement and what we can vet and we know to be fact, it seems as if Sebastian has vanished and left no trace. It's not, nobody really like vanishes into thin air, but really what they do is they vanish without a trace right now, you know? So.
But neat that, but I mean, neat. I was thinking about neat because of her comment, but Lil Red says he was on a neighbor's camera Friday and Saturday. Why not Sunday or Monday between 12 and 6? The lighting could be one issue, but like I said, it depends on what he was on camera doing that day versus the other day. What that day, would he have been in frame for a long period of time, and this time just be walking by it quickly? Because if you're just walking by a camera, you can set it off, but it won't capture you. It will capture behind you, you know, you'll be past it by then. Like if somebody's with you, it might capture them, but at least at my house, that's how the cameras are. So I mean, if he was the day before out in the yard doing like chores or something, I don't remember what it was. Was he seen on camera taking out the trash?
That's what yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that
He'd be in the frame longer, you know what I mean?
right. There's all okay, we're talking about like technology, and cameras are not infallible, and there's a lot of variables. You know, I mean, not everything.
Yeah.
You know, not everything. Some things have a reasonable explanation. And I think that there are a lot of questions that, as people that are watching this case, right, and interested and worried about it, I can tell you right now that some of the questions that we have likely have answers, and that law enforcement knows those answers already.
Yeah.
But we don't know them. And so we're assuming that these are just open-ended questions, that these are actually still questions that are still looming, when the truth of the matter is, it more likely than not, of course, law enforcement obviously still has open-ended questions because they don't have Sebastian. But a lot of these things, they probably already know the answers to, and they're not going to tell us because they don't have to tell us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I put in chat, but Jen, these things like what I said about the camera and being in frame longer, that's truly like
absolutely
like how I come to my own conclusions, thinking those things through. And if I can find any way that it could be possible, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, well, I can't come to the conclusion that he wasn't walking through there that day, basically. Because it could have just not caught him. Look at Scara's comment. She says someone hit our mailbox in the middle of the night and our camera didn't catch it.
Exactly. Where I want to. This is Neat. I'm going to have to just call attention to this, because I've seen Neat comment many, many times about this case and in other cases where children go missing. This is a person with firsthand experience. Her child has gone missing. It ended with a good result, but there was a time when she didn't know where her child was. And if this person is in this chat saying, sometimes you got to, You cannot understand what the parents are going through. It's a club you don't ever want to be a part of. We don't know. We think we know. We always think we know how we would handle a situation until we're in that situation. You don't, the truth of the matter is you don't know. I had no idea when my granddaughter was born that before she was 2 years old, she was going to be diagnosed with something that is that there is no cure for, and that she will likely die from. Okay. I had no idea that was going to happen. And when it did happen, I thought I would be the kind of person that shut everything down and shut everything out. But instead, I did the absolute opposite. I went on YouTube and I talked true crime, and it was a distraction for me. And you guys were all here, and you guys all helped me through that. You don't know what you will do until you're in it. You have no fucking idea. I had no idea what it was going to be like to be a mom until I was a mom. When I was pregnant, I had all kinds of, I'm never going to do this and I'm never going to do that. You don't know until you're in it.
Yeah. And people can sympathize for you and try to see where you're coming from and try to put themselves in your shoes, but you really will never truly know unless you're there. And that's just the truth. And I love you, Jen, and I'm so
I love
sorry.
you too.
And there's going to be a cure, damn it.
There will be a cure. Right now there isn't, but science and medicine is improving. They're always doing new things all the time. And we're going to find we're going to fix this. But my point is, we sometimes listen. I would be lying if I said the very first time I heard Chris Proudfoot spoke, he didn't rub me he rubbed me the wrong way. He's not the type. To me, I don't think that he's just like he's just not my cup of tea. He's not somebody that I would probably have in my friend group. But he didn't come to YouTube to join my fucking friend group. He came to YouTube to get the information out about his missing son, and Katie the same way. And that's where I can separate it from. He's not trying to be my friend. And I'm not going to say I will not bash Seth. I don't understand everything that Seth's doing. I don't understand, but I don't have to understand it. You know, I don't understand it. I actually worry for Seth. I worry because of the people the types of people he has surrounding him. I think that, you know, it's concerning to me. I worry for him, and I worry for Katie and Chris, because the truth of the matter is that marriages sometimes don't survive these kinds of situations.
Yeah, especially when YouTube, they're like, I'm sorry, I gotta be honest here.
Oh, Lil Red, see?
If I was them, I would not come on YouTube. I would not be out searching. I'm sorry, their life is in danger. Look how people treat them.
Mm-hmm.
I truly feel like their life would be in danger. I would not be out in public. If I was searching, I would be doing it privately, not with like anyone from YouTube, not where anyone from YouTube would have anything to do with it. Why would
Exactly.
you? So
And
you can
I
be
like
ridiculed more?
right. No. And I likely wouldn't come to YouTube myself. But guess what? You know why I wouldn't come to YouTube? Because I know how YouTube rolls. They had no idea about YouTube when they came to YouTube. And let's be honest, most people don't. Most people don't know anything about YouTube. Most people don't know anything about Facebook. Most people think Facebook is just a fun place where you post pictures of your family and you connect with people from high school. They have no idea how dirty Facebook can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially
they don't.
it's crazy because there's a lot of good that can come from these platforms, but a lot of bad. And it seems like a lot of the bad is because like money brings bad to brings a dark side to everything in life. That's just the truth about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they thought when they saw, look, think about it when you very first came to YouTube, because I've heard so many people heard them say it and seen it in chats that they had no idea that YouTube had like true crime or any of this. This is where they came to watch old videos from like old music videos that, from a long time ago, or how to fix shit. You know what I mean? Most people don't really know. Now, my family is super impressed with the number of subscribers that I have. And I'm proud of myself too. But I also know that there are people with 11 billion times more subscribers than I have on my channel, right? But you put yourself in their shoes. When you come to YouTube and you see a channel with 100,000 subscribers, you think that's like getting the ratings, the Nielsen ratings from like ABC, NBC, or CBS. When you can see in real time how many people are watching a specific show. They get published eventually, but you can't see it on a day-to-day basis, right? But with YouTube, you can. You've got a missing child. Law enforcement is doing their job and you're trusting in law enforcement. But what you really need is more sets of eyes to be aware that your child is missing. So if they're out and about and they happen to see something, that they will know that your child does not belong with the people that he is with, and that they need to call law enforcement immediately. That's what their intention was. There's no way in hell that they could have ever foreseen. They thought they were doing a good thing. They thought what they were doing was coming. All three of them was coming to YouTube to get the word out that their son is missing. They need help. That's what they came here for. Yep. And look what happened.
Yep. I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. It is. I don't know. It's not going to stop. It's just not going to stop because look at Summer's case. It didn't stop until more recently that all the people that were covering that have started covering this. And that took a long damn time, man. God, I can't believe how long she's been missing.
And then you hear the negative stuff, right? Like you go on a channel, you answer the questions, you say the things, and then, another channel reviews what you said and they have a different spin on it, right? So what do you think you can do? Oh, they misunderstood me. It's a miscommunication. Here's what I'll do. I'll do another interview and I will just explain myself because they just misunderstood me. I didn't mean it this way. I can see how it came off this way. Let me explain myself. And then you explain and you see what it's like, Yeah. Oh, it's as if a never-ending cycle. And I've told Allie, I've told all of you guys, if something, God forbid, ever happens to me, please don't involve YouTube. Y'all can go look for me. I would, I trust y'all, but don't cover it on YouTube. Don't involve the YouTubes in anything that happens to your girl. Can you imagine what they would do? Can you imagine what would happen if I were found unalived somewhere? People would be scouring my channel for every little thing and saying, well, look what she covered all the time. She was fascinated by true crime. How do we know that she didn't advertise on some, serial killer's website looking for victims? That, she would,
How do we know that she didn't plan this somehow? How do we know that?
How do we know she's even dead? How do we know she didn't pull this bullshit to grow her YouTube channel?
Wait,
You
that
know what
true
I
crime
mean?
creator didn't like her? That true crime creator did it. It was them.
Right. Remember that one time that one other creator said that Jen Lou was a bitch? There you
They did
go. They did it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's a never-ending cycle, ever.
Did you see what Lil Red put? She says, I can say my child was found in day 3. I did not have to worry for months and years. I am thankful it was day 3. I just had to tell myself God took him home. That's how I cope. I'm so sorry, Lil Red.
I'm sorry, Lil Red. I just, and that's the thing, is can you imagine? You know what Chris and Katie are going through. You know what Seth is going through. You know that they're running every scenario of what happened and what is happening with their child through their brain all the time. And so then you get up on a panel and you just want to share your memories, and just you want the people. You think that if you get up on a panel and you share who Sebastian is, that these people are going to care and love Sebastian and be as invested in finding him as you are. That is your goal. And then, but you, at the same time that that's happening, you can't turn your mind off, right? So your brain is completely capable of doing multiple things at one time. So you're talking on a panel, you're sharing all these great stories, but in the back of your mind, all of those scenarios are still running through your brain. I think we can give them a little grace for maybe misspeaking, maybe using past tense.
Yep, 100% agree. Okay, the chat is cracking me up. So earlier
What are they saying?
I saw Michelle and Natasha saying goodnight to each other, and I scrolled the chat to see who was leaving. I didn't see who said it originally, and who was like, okay, I'm going to bed, good night. So I was like, And then Michelle said, Natasha, I thought you said goodnight. Hi, I'm glad you're still here. Maybe you were saying goodnight to someone else. I misunderstood. Then Natasha said, shit, Michelle, I thought you were saying
Oh
goodnight.
my God. See, you guys have found your place, because this is some shit me and Allie would do.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to bed.
That's so funny.
And
That's so
also,
true.
I want to be clear too. Anybody that has the Proudfoots or the or Seth on their panel, I'm not judging. I don't judge the questions that are asked or not asked. This is how I feel about it, you guys, for reals. If you're watching something and you don't like it, just stop watching. Don't continue to watch it and just get angrier and angrier and angrier.
Which is so easy to do.
It's very easy to do. It's very easy to do. It's very,
Dude,
because
this
I've done it
song
myself.
this sound has only gotten more frequent, and it's just like
I'm
right over
telling
the
you.
fence.
I'm telling you, it's them trash pandas. They're doing it again.
Do turkeys make weird noises that not gobble, but like a squeak, not like a quack, but like a screech? And this is like over and over. And there's a turkey that was in the field the last couple of days.
I don't
I
know
don't know
what
why it's
noises
not
fucking
leaving.
turkeys make. What would make you think that I would know one kind of different noises other than the turkey makes? As if I have some sort of.
Oh my God, did you hear it? So good. I'm dying laughing at you, and then it did the most loudest one ever. Okay.
Oh, God.
What would make you think that? Bats. Is it a bat? Wait, bats?
I don't know what noises bats make. I mean, I don't. Do bats even make noises? I mean, don't they kind of squeak?
Huh. I wonder. I'll have to YouTube it after this. Michelle said, and we are both still here. Neither of us saying goodnight. Laughing.
Oh my God.
Oh God, this was fun though, Jen.
This was fun. I think we should do these more often. I'm going to change the thumbnail and the title, because We should have more. I should do more lives where we just chill and just chat about many, many different things, because
Yes.
I wanted to talk about Chad and everything, but then other things came up, and I think it was better like that. You know what I mean? Chad's trial will be continuing tomorrow, and you know that I will be watching it, probably rolling my eyes. Oh, that's another thing. I forgot about that, Allie. It might be cicadas, because I did see on the internet, so you know it's fucking true, that this year, like, a buttload of cicadas were going to be hatching. Like, this was going to be like an all-time record for cicada births.
Yeah, but this is not really like, this has like a more, this is like, not, I don't know if a bug could do this. This
Well,
has like heart behind it, like an animal.
like soul.
Maybe that, yes. Oh, Jane, you are freaking funny. And anybody who doesn't like your laugh is just fucking crazy. I don't know what's wrong with them.
I can't believe I got up on Queen's panel all crunk like that. Girl. I was talking through my teeth. She's on my nerves. Well, because she had started to play the very beginning of that interview, or that she got I'm not going to say interview, because it wasn't an interview. She hauled her cookies up on a panel that happened to be discussing this audio. And she got up there and she was talking, and she already had changed her story within like the first 3 seconds. And then it just went all over me, and I was like, I've had enough, just own what you did. You look, at the end of the day, you sent out an audio. Okay. You can say that you sent it out because you were concerned that it was, whether or not it was a credible threat, blah, blah, blah. If that were the case, first of all, you didn't have to send out the call in its entirety, all 16 minutes or however. I don't know how long the call is. I know that what was played has been 16 minutes. Okay. You could have just sent a clip. And why would you need to be consulting? If you want to know about the law, then you ask an attorney. Come on, ma'am, you're a PI. If you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you. But now you're saying there was no leak. You trusted then, and you trust now the people that you sent the audio to. You're saying you emailed it. Well, and B Tim, shout out to B Tim, because I didn't think about this, but he is right. You can only email a file that's but so large. Email has a limit. So more than likely what she did was she did not email the actual audio file. What she did was upload the audio file to either like a Dropbox or a Google Drive, in which case, spoiler alert, anyone that accessed the Google Drive, you will be able to see. You don't need to go through your emails like you're having some kind of, Stephanie Lazarus moment where you've got to check your pictures. Oh, spazzy lazzy. You don't need to do all that. You can just go to your Google Drive and find out who, and look and see exactly who accessed it. But you don't want to do that. Instead, you'd rather you haul your cookies up on a panel and just give nothing but word salad. Girl, bye. I'm not entertaining your ass no more, Heather. Unless you want to get up on this panel and answer some questions, I'll entertain you then.
Girl, bye.
Mm-hmm. But just understand that if you get up on this panel, that you're giving me permission to ask you questions, and I will ask you questions, and I will ask you follow-up questions. And if I see that you're contradicting yourself, I will bring it up. I'm not just going to be like, oh, that makes sense, when it doesn't make a lick of sense. Lady.
Kimberly says maybe an owl. I thought owls only hooted, but I don't know.
No, they do make other noises.
Oh, wow. Owls are freaking creepy, dude.
But they are so pretty. Their
They
eyes.
are pretty,
I
but
love their big eyes.
The way they move their heads, like, I don't know. They creep me out. They totally creep me out. But they are pretty. But I'd rather look at like a picture of an owl than see an
Right.
owl.
Like, I have to be honest, birds in general a little bit freak me out. One time I walked out to the you know how in an apartment you have a patio. I walked out on the patio to have a cigarette, and y'all know that there were oh, Alice, why you gotta do well, I'm about to tell a
Oh
scary
my God,
story,
I
and
heard
here
that.
she's jumping up onto the chair. Trying to scare motherfuckers, Alice. There were two, this story creeps me out every time I say it. Two big ass vultures flew onto the ledge of the patio, scared the shit out of me. So of course I put my cigarette out. I mean, it's a apartment patio. Okay. We're not talking, it's not like huge or anything. So I go in the house, and these assholes are sitting perched on the ledge of the patio, like looking in the window. Y'all know that moment in Jurassic Park when the velociraptors are trying to figure out how to turn that door handle, and they cock their heads and they're looking at each other, they're cahooting, they're putting shit together. I shit you not, that is exactly how those vultures looked at each other. So when scientists say that they think that some of the dinosaurs evolved into modern day birds, I see why they say it, because those
Yes.
vultures look like those fucking velociraptors, and they scared the shit out of me. I'm not even playing. I'm not a real big fan of like birds in
But they
general.
do. I get what you mean too. They really do. You
Yes.
can see they are related to the dinosaur. You can totally tell. They say the T-Rex was like actually made like a more of like a quack, like a chicken sound or something, like a bird sound. I can't remember exactly which
Well,
one.
I can tell you right now, no me gusta vultures. And Michelle, I have been catching some highlights, and that trial, yes, the tickety talker, that is a crazy trial. But I have committed to read Daybell, and the next one is the treadmill one. But I might cover, both of those simultaneously.
Well, I haven't watched. I've only seen Grizzly was covering it. I haven't watched anything about it. I hadn't seen anybody. I didn't see your comment about it, Michelle, or I would have answered.
Me
But
too. I was too busy reliving my trauma from the vultures. I'm sorry.
I know. Okay. Well, Bendy, I love you, and I'm
I love
so
you. Thank
glad
you
you had
guys
me
all.
on.
Me too. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to end it. And I just want you all to know that even if we don't all agree all the time on all the things, I still love and appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And I don't want you to change. We don't all have to agree for us to be friends or for you to be welcome here. Echo chambers are boring. Plus, it makes me think about things differently too. You guys give me good perspectives.
Yeah.
Allie, thank you as always for being up here to chit chat with me. You know that I adore you, and I think you're perfectly perfect just the way you are, and I hope you don't never change.
Oh, I feel the same way about you, and thank you for having me. And yeah, I was just gonna say I have got to pee so bad, and I can't take the phone in at
No.
all.
Because it'll cut you off.
Yeah, can't go inside at all. I'm getting ate up by the bugs too. But
I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to change the thumbnail and change the title so it's not clickbaity. Although we did talk about some of the recap, that was not the majority. So I'm going to fix that. But before I do that, I'm going to go have a cigarette. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Welcome to the new members. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye.